Okay, gotcha. I don't know either, but
Looks like we might be waiting for a couple more people to join, so maybe we'll just give them a second. But thank you for those of you that are here on time this morning. Some of you have your cameras off, which is fine. I'm hoping to see a couple of faces, especially as you guys have been sending me answers to our 20 questions questionnaire. So it's nice to have a face to go with some of your responses to get to know you guys a little bit. This morning, I want to walk you through what FuelEd is going to look like. I don't know how many of you are able to log in yet. More of you. How many of you are able to log in yet? Some of you I know are second semester. And so if you're second semester, you're not going to be able to get in at all until the second semester window opens. But and we can do this again then, but I'm glad to have you guys here this morning. If you'll just remember to keep yourself on mute, just because there's a lot of background noise sometimes. That's really helpful as we're going through this, because I'm recording it and I'll post it to our homepage in Brightspace so that you can reference it later if you need to. And I know there are some people that couldn't come today. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys the login for Peak, and then going into Brightspace, which is actually the place you're going to be doing your work. And I'm going to try to show you what it's going to look like from a student perspective, and then answer any questions that you have. Before we get started doing any of that, I want to watch a really quick video that actually is from FuelEd, that talks a little bit about this class in particular, because FuelEd runs all different kinds of classes, and your class is kind of special in that you're doing credit recovery. That means you've already taken geometry and you're just trying to improve your grade. And so they run it a little bit differently, and I want to show you guys that video. Let me pull it up really quick. I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, that's enough of that one. So I'll post a link to that video so that you guys can watch it again. But here's the really cool thing about this system that you're in. You don't have to do every single thing. So at the beginning of each unit, you're going to take a diagnostic test. And it's really important that you do your very best on the diagnostic test. Because if you get past that 70% threshold, then it's going to let you take the unit test without doing anything. And then if you don't get 70% on the diagnostic, that checkpoint, then it's going to open up just the sections of the content that you missed. So the idea is you've already taken this class, you learned a ton of stuff, but you still have some things that you need to work on. It's going to check and see, hey, what do you know? What do you still don't really know very well? Go through those lessons, make sure you finish all of them, and then it'll open up the unit test for you. It seems like, I know it seems like this class, like you could do the whole thing in a day, but what I think is going to happen is it's actually, you should plan to have 3 to 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday, working on this. So you'll have the weekends off, of course, And even though summer school is technically considered like Monday through Thursday, plan on working like around 3 hours a day, Monday through Friday. And I say around because some of you might work only 2 hours a day, and some of you might be working 4 or 5. And it just depends on how well you do on that beginning diagnostic. If you do really well, it'll only open up a couple of sections. If you do really poorly, it may open up every single section, and it may take you longer to go through the videos and do the practice problems. If you're really struggling on a diagnostic, will you please contact me? I'll walk you through the content and help you. You don't have to learn everything on your own. This isn't like distance learning where it's just like, here you go, here's what you're supposed to learn. I hope you can figure it out. I am your instructor. I do want to help you. I will teach you if you need help with stuff. You just need to contact me. So let's talk a little bit about when you log in, what Brightspace is going to look like. So I'm going to open that for you guys. So I'll go here to Peak. So I'm gonna sign in. You're gonna sign in too. Brightspace is where all of the content for this class is. Peak is just sort of like the manager. So we'll go into Brightspace. And I'm gonna switch mine over so you can see what it looks like as a student. So when you enter Brightspace, you'll choose your course. So most of you are in semester 1, but there's a handful of you in semester 2, so you'll choose that. So you'll go into the space. And then the home page is always announcements. So I'll be putting announcements out like, by today, you should have finished Unit 3, or by tomorrow, please finish Unit 4. Or I might have, here's a video to help you with this, or I might just have little hints or things that I want you to do. So like the first announcement right here, this is from me. This is saying, hey, it's really, really important that as soon as you guys get into Brightspace, that you go through the course materials and the course introduction. So I'm going to walk you through that a little bit, because if you haven't taken an online class before, sometimes the platform that you're interacting with, there's new stuff there that you haven't really seen before. And so Brightspace, FuelEd, they're going to give you sort of a walkthrough of how do you fill these out? What do you do? So this is all your content over here. This is your class content. This is all just for semester 1. And each one of these, when you click on it, is going to open a series of windows. So like if I go to course materials and resources, this is teacher's contact information. This is all of my contact information. Okay, so this is me. There I am. And this is my email address. Okay, but hopefully you guys have that because I've already emailed all of you. And I plan to give a run, like running office hours, Monday, Wednesday, and then sometimes Fridays, depending on the week, from 10 to 11. And those will just be my standard office hours. Like you can always reach me. But really, I'm really always available to you during the week, during school hours, from like 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. If you need me, email me. I'll write you back right away. I'll have my computer on all day long. We can set up Zoom calls. We can email back and forth. You can send me screenshots of things. We can do whatever you need to help you get through this. I'm just holding formal office hours if you just like have general questions and you want to wait until office hours. But if you need me aside from those times, you just contact me. And thank you for those of you that filled out the 20 questions. I didn't list all of my answers here, but a little bit about me. If I wasn't a teacher, I might raise exotic cats. I do love cats. And I was supposed to be on a plane today going to Paris, but obviously I'm not on a plane going to Paris right now, but I wish I was. So that's somewhere I would love to travel to this summer. If I could eat any food for the rest of my life, I would eat Thai food. And if I had to skip one meal every day, I would skip lunch. Who needs lunch? And if I could have one superpower, I would be able to freeze time. I noted a lot of you said the same thing. When you have a lot of stuff to do and not a lot of time, freezing time seems amazing. I'm more of a talker than a listener, but I'm working on being a listener because I actually really admire listeners. And I saw many of you said that you were a mix of both. So that's always great. I love pets. I don't know if I love my pets more than I love my humans, but I do have lots of pets. I have a little puppy and I have 2 cats. So hopefully we'll get a chance to get to know each other a little bit better as we go through the semester, and I can have chances to meet with you guys individually. So the rest of these resources over here, there's like a document on academic integrity, right? Just the idea of like your work is your own and you're not cheating, and you recognize that if you get caught cheating, that you won't receive credit for the course. There are some student resources. There's like a pacing guide, but it's actually like your own pacing guide. Like if you want to set one up, and I don't think you really need that because I'm going to keep you on track. So we'll go back to the home page. The other stuff that's in here, this is the one I want you to start with today, and that's the course introduction. So in the course introduction, see if it'll let me click on it. There we go. You double click on it and that opens it up. And then you see how I've already walked through this. So it's showing me that there's 7 parts to the course introduction. And each time you read and click through, you get a green check mark over here. So you check through. So this part right here is just kind of like a restating of the video we watched. You take the unit checkpoint. Your goal is to get a 70% or higher. If you do, it's going to skip you through a bunch of the units of stuff you clearly already know. So we're not trying to make you retake everything. Like if you already know how to do something in geometry, great, you get to skip that. But you do have to demonstrate mastery of it in the checkpoint and then again on the unit test. So when you click through all of these, it's going to show you what it's going to look like. Here's the lesson structure, right? So for part 1, basic tools, the first thing you take is the checkpoint, right? And then these things, the units, the individual units, they only open up if you don't do well on those sections of the diagnostic. And it sounds like you have to do a refresh of the page up here in order for it to open and show those. And you have problems with that and it's not showing, you need to let me know so I can get someone from IT to help you. And then they'll have you learn, they'll do some examples. They'll have a video and they'll walk you through it and talk about it. And then they'll give you a couple of worked examples that they'll grade for you. So hopefully the idea is if you didn't get it and you watch the videos and you look at the examples and you practice it a couple of times, you'll do better and you'll be ready to take the test. My advice for you is that you should plan to take the diagnostic in the morning, use the rest of the morning to work through the stuff that you didn't do well on, and then take the test the same day you work on that content so that it's super fresh in your brain. Okay, unless it's really long and you missed a bunch of stuff. But if you can take the diagnostic in the morning, work through the examples in the videos the rest of the morning, and then take that diagnostic in the afternoon, you're going to do much better than if you're working and then waiting and taking the test a couple of days later, because it'll be really fresh. So it's going to walk you through the lessons. Okay, so this is an example of what a lesson would look like if you didn't do well, let's say on this standard of determining the sum of the interior angles of a polygon. And it's going to give you like, here's what the theorem says, and here are the steps to it. And of course, you can watch a video in real time. So they'll walk you through the content with the video, and then after you get through all the content, they'll have some practice, like some worked examples. So they'll kind of say like, well, what do you think this one would be? What number is 5 units to the left of 12 on the number line? And then you get a chance to sort of check your answer and see if you really understood what the video was teaching you. And these ones, you just click on them and fill in the box. Okay, so once you completed all of the content that opens for you, then they'll let you take the unit test. So remember, take the diagnostic. If you get more than 70, you can go straight to the unit test. If you get less than 70, it's going to open up lessons for you depending on which content you missed. And you cannot take the unit test until you've worked through those. So you'll need to work through those. So the second thing that you're going to really want to work on today is going through the groundwork section, because this is the part where you're trying to figure out how to communicate with the computer. Okay, and there's different ways you're going to communicate with the computer. So some of the questions require you to like grab something with your mouse and drag it and move it around. So those are like drag and drop problems. We do those sometimes like on the Smarter Balance, the state test that you guys take in the fall. Some of them are just like type it in, or you can type it from a keyboard. Obviously you can just type these in and different stuff comes up. So they're teaching you how to do an exponent here. So if you click the box, it'll open this up for you. So you can do like this button. That just puts the exponent in. See how I didn't put the X in? So you'll have to put the X first. And then clicking that button will help you do the exponent. So you'll practice figuring out how to type stuff in the box. This is all really important because if you know the right answer, but you can't figure out how to type it into the computer, then you're not going to get a score that's representative of what you actually know. So it's really important that you sort of walk through these. So it'll show you how to put in exponents, how to put in radicals. This is practice on dragging and dropping. So like, which one of these is a line? Well, this is a line, but this is not a line. So they're giving you a bunch of choices and then you're just dragging and dropping them into boxes. This is a section that teaches you about what if they give you a chart and you have to read a chart or you have to make a graph. So you're just practicing through these different sections, like how do you graph a point? And so like you click on point and then you click it and then that's the point. But what if instead of making one point, what if I wanted to make a line? How do you make a line? Okay, so they're just trying to help you understand the user interface so that all of the knowledge that you have, you can communicate with that with the computer and get scored properly. And then there's a couple other types of questions that are in here. You probably see a lot of these same types of questions in a regular math class, but you're doing it on paper. And it's a little bit different to take a test on paper than it is to take a test on a computer. So these are called radio buttons, and a radio button just means that if I click one and then I click the other one, this one will turn off. Essentially, a radio button means there's only one correct answer. You can't click both of them. See how as soon as I click one, the other one unclicks? It's kind of like, is something on or off? It can't be both at the same time. The other kind of boxes that you see are going to be check boxes. Check boxes are kind of like when we put select all that apply. So I could put even and whole. See how clicking this one didn't undo the one I had already clicked? So you kind of want to walk through these and make sure that you understand how all these work. We also have things like drop downs where they give us choices. If you work through big ideas, geometry this year, and your teacher was doing the online homework, you may have already seen some of these user interface options. But if you weren't doing the homework online, you may be less familiar with these. So it's really important that you kind of walk through this so that you know how to put the correct answers, your answers, into the computer. And then the last thing I want to show you is that when you're working through something in FuelEd, it's going to give you how many sections there are to work. As you complete each section, you'll get a green check mark. If you try to go to the next section without completing everything, it brings up a big warning and it says, you aren't done with this section. Are you sure you want to move forward? I would listen to that, heed that warning, because if you haven't finished all the sections for something, you may be missing something that they want to cover with you that's going to show up on the unit test. My understanding is that FuelEd does a really good job walking you through the lessons and giving you examples that are going to prepare you really well for the unit test. So the best way to do well in those unit tests is just not to skip stuff when they give it to you in the lesson and in the practice. So if I have all the check marks for all 7 sections, 7 out of 7, this is my progress bar, then it's going to say, good job, you did all of them and you're done. And this will take me back to the home screen where I can go back to the content. And this is all of your content right here. Okay, so that's pretty much what it's going to look like for you guys. You're going to sign in. It's going to take you to this page. All your content's going to be down here. You can also get it through content. There's some other stuff up here like progress. You can see your progress. You won't have any right now. You can see your grades. That's going to be a summary of all the unit tests you've taken, and it'll show it to you in a big long table like this, but you won't have any yet. And then there's like different tools, like can you go to the assignments or the discussions, and you won't need to worry about that stuff as much. Mostly you're going to be looking at your content, your progress, and your grades. And then if anything else comes up, you're probably just going to contact me, and I'll help you with whatever you need help with. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of here. And we'll go back to our main page that has all of you on it. And I'm just going to take a minute to answer questions for you guys at this time if you have any questions. Just unmute yourself if you have a question. You probably won't have a lot of questions until you get into Brightspace and start working through the content. But again, you all have my email address, hopefully. I think that I emailed all of you, and you can email me anytime. And you can contact me through Brightspace, and I will be continuing to put out announcements and sending you emails to help you stay on track. And I really want you guys to feel like you're not just taking this class online by yourself. You're not just taking a class online by yourself. You have an instructor, and you can reach out to me anytime, and I will absolutely help you as much as I can. I really want you guys to do well in this class. I expect that all of you are going to be able to fly through this and pass this course and earn your credits. And hopefully you think this is like the easiest class that you've ever taken. Not because necessarily the content is super, super easy, but because you can work on the content in the comfort of your own house and on your own time. And you basically have like a personal teacher here to help you and support you and do whatever I can to help you guys be successful. Okay, well, I'm going to sign off for now. Thanks again, everybody, for coming to the orientation. I'll post a link to this video for you guys in Brightspace, or email it out to you, just in case you want to reference it. I also put a link to this document in the welcome. This is the student toolkit. And so if you are curious about anything, I'm sorry, you guys can't see that, can you? Let's try that one more time. This is the student toolkit. And if you're curious at any time about how FuelEd works, what things are, or how to navigate the different parts of FuelEd, this document is a great reference for you. And again, that's in the announcement section on your home page at Brightspace. Okay, so there's lots of resources for you, not just tech resources, but also learning resources. And of course, I'm going to help you too. All right, so that's there for you too. All right, you guys, thanks again. I won't take up any more of your time this morning. Please, everyone, go into Brightspace this morning. The first thing that I want you all to do today is to walk yourself through the course introduction and the groundwork, get ready, so that you know how to interact with FuelEd. And I'll check in with all of you guys tomorrow. All right, thanks again, everybody. It's nice to quasi meet you, to cyber meet all of you. I'll see you in Bright Space. Bye, everybody.